Hey, what's going on? It's Mr. D just coming at you. I want to share a little something with you. I done got in from the park, got my 4 miles in, came in and wanted to get a little reading in, a little study time in. You got to spend that time with God, and I'm trying to make it my business to get back. It's amazing how you can come into the Lord, and at one point, I think everybody who's really trying to walk that walk with the Lord when He's called you so you can do that which He purposed you to do. When you first come in, it's like you studying and you look up 3-4 hours and it went by, you don't even realize it because you're that heavy in the word, and it stays that way for a while. You're praying like crazy, you fasting like crazy. I mean, you really seeking the Lord with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your soul. And then for whatever reason, something happens and you're not studying the way you were studying. You're not praying the way you were praying. You're not fasting the way you fasting. Maybe it's intended to be that way, because I think sometimes you can't blame Satan for everything. I think sometimes we want to test ourselves. Okay, I got this in me, because you start looking over here at your friends, at your buddies, the things you would do, and you test yourself. I can still go hang out with them and do this and that without indulging in the things that I was indulging in, you know and you do it and for a minute it's okay, but eventually you know how it go. Come on, man. Or if you with your this ladies, if you with your girls, oh, girl, ain't gonna hurt you to have one little drink here, you can get this and then especially if you somebody that overindulged in the things that you did it excessively. You didn't know moderation. So there's a reason why God called you out of that darkness into his light. It's a reason why he separated you from that dark place over here into his light. But anyway, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to get back to that place where I was. And daily I talk to him. I read, get a word, I study, I try to share. I'm trying to do what he purposed me to do. And I know more is coming. But I asked him for a word today, as always, and took me to the book of Hebrews, gave me Hebrews 2:6. And I'm going to read it to you, but I pray that I decrease and the Lord increase within me. I pray that what's said is what's meant to be said, and I add nothing to it or try to take away from anything. So I ask this in Jesus' name. Those who have ears will hear. I am going to read my notes. I'm just going from what I studied, and that would be that. But I'm going to read this. It's not Hebrews, I'm sorry. It's Galatians 2:6. And that one word stuck out to me, which is, what was given to me when I put my notes down. But Galatians 2:6 says, but of these who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it makes no matter to me. This is Paul talking. God accepted no man's purpose. God doesn't show favoritism. For they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. God is not one who shows favoritism. So just because these people who are somewhat, those supposedly people who are influential, those who are in high places, and people want to be like them and look like them and talk like them, that they're nobody. They seem to be right, but they're nothing. They're nobody. That's why Paul went word about it. Paul knew who he was. Paul hunted Christians down, put them in prison, locked them up. A lot of them got killed. He hunted them down. And God used that same zest and zeal that he had to hunt them down. Instead of being after the Jews, he went after the Gentiles, the uncircumcision. And he didn't have to chase them down. He just came, he gave the word. It's like that road at Damascus. Paul had a choice when he was on his way. And Jesus came there and intervened. The Lord came and intervened and said, Paul, Paul, why do you hate me? What did I do to you? Paul had a choice at that point to say, man, whatever, and walk on away. But he fell to his knees and said, Lord, is that you? And I'm paraphrasing, you know what I mean? But he didn't have to accept Jesus at that time. He could have went on about his business and kept doing what he's doing. But I believe in each and every last one of us. I don't care how bad of a person, how evil of a person, how sadistic, how maniacal, how deceitful, how manipulative you may be. In the beginning, we was made in his image. And we all got that voice deep down inside of us. We all got that spirit inside of us that's him. And that's why I say those who have ears gonna hear. And Paul heard. And he was transformed. And that word was put in him. And he called himself a prisoner of the Lord. He did it to the fullest. Even had to correct Peter at one point. But I'm jumping ahead. I love Paul. You know, I love that person in the word. You know what I mean? But the word that stuck out to me in some way. You do not want to be a somewhat person. A person who seems to be something and you're not. You're not the truth. So I'm just going to read my notes and I'm going to let it go from there. It says, it does not matter what position you're in, no matter how high you may be, how high you sit when it comes to the word of the Lord, because some in those positions, some people in those positions in the church, God didn't put them there. A lot of them put themselves there. Some of them will sit back and study the word, and just because they know how to explain certain things, and I believe God does give those gifts, but they do it for themselves. So now they sit back like they all high and mighty, you know, because they think they getting people to do this and that, and they loading their pockets up. God gonna deal with those people, you know, but they do it for themselves to be seen. They have their reward. To me, it makes no difference. Paul in Galatians 2:6, what I just read, says, but of those who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, past tense, means nothing to him. You see, God doesn't show favoritism. He's no respecter of person. His word performs the surgery that changes you. Not you, not me, not your pastor, not nobody. God's word goes in and does what it does within you and change you if you want it. You came into that operating room, the church, on your own accord because you chose to accept his love. The one he uses to feed you, his word, is the instrument. The pastor is that scalpel God is using to just bring that word at you. And every time that word hit you, that darkness in you is just fleeing. And you find yourself crying, and you find yourself sitting there shaking. That's a quickening and getting that mess up out of you. He's used that pastor, that person is used as an instrument used to reveal himself. That's how God reveals himself to you. His word is the light that enters you, and the darkness flees no matter the place you're in. Some who stay around, now some of those darkness, some of your friends, some of those people, they stick around. Those the ones who sit back like, yeah, okay, no, she going to church, he going to church. That's cool. Hey, that's a good thing that you're doing. You know how it go. Hey, that's good, man. You trying to really get it together. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. And that's all they say for a minute, but eventually they come and test you. Hey, what's up? What you doing? I'm pretty sure you all can relate. Hey, girl, what's going on with you? You all right? Nothing. I'm just sitting here reading my Bible and just meditating, kicking it with God. The fellas. Your fellas call you, hey man, what's up, dude? I'm at such and such a spot. Man, there's a lot of ladies down here. I know you don't do what you used to do, man, but no, why don't you come on down? You say no for a while. Eventually, you go. And you get there. And you feel uncomfortable. But you hang in there. You try to say you had fun. And you would do it for a few times. Eventually, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. You cannot play with fire and not get burned. Eventually, you're going to touch that stove that your mom always told you, don't touch that stove. You did it to your kids. Don't touch that. And they look at you like, and move their hand. Eventually, they touch it, now they crying. So you went back out there, a little leavened the whole lump. Leavened it the whole lump. You went back out there, you started playing. It started off with a little sip, started off with a little more sip. Now it turned to a drink. Next thing you know, you're probably smoking again. Now you're on the dance floor, doing what you look doing again. And now you're back out there. The state you was in before, you're going to be in a worse state now. Because see, now you know. And that spirit that left you, going to bring 7 more with them. This is a somewhat person again. God trying to bring you from that. Don't be a somewhat person because these lift themselves up, not knowing they are beneath the feet of God. These people mean nothing to you because the truth resides in you. God's word can take unbelievers and have them with believers peacefully because they know and see the truth. The believers, the Jews, was with Peter. The unbelievers, the uncircumcision, was with Paul. Paul fed them. Peter fed the Jews. Paul took those who didn't believe. And now he got those sitting with the ones who do believe. Oneness. That's why I always say oneness is key. And I do apologize if things kind of fragmented because my notes are here, but my mind, and I'm trying to, so I'm just really trying to follow the way the Lord is doing this. You know, when it's all said and done, it's about love. True love has a way of drawing you in. Truth is freedom, and anything contrary to that is bondage. A somewhat person is still a person in bondage, and they don't even realize that they are, because they believe their own truth and not the truth. Not the truth. We're not perfect. We err every day. But I'm beginning to see, and I've always known, you know, but I'm really beginning to see, the more you get in this word, the more you talk to the Lord, the more you meditate, the more you focus on who and what's before you, which is our Father who dwells in heaven, everything is made so clear to you. You get revelations out of everything. Somewhat people are those who seem to be, as I mentioned earlier, influential. Now, somewhat, that word "seen," which means to look, pretend, show oneself. They want to be seen. They're out to impress. Somewhat people. These, I would just say, a confused person. You know, because even though somewhat people, they really want to know who the Lord is, but they so used to having all the attention for themselves. Satan was a somewhat person. Didn't start off that way. He wanted to be God, pretty much. God wasn't having that. You got to go home, boy, and cast them down. Now he got a lot of people that way. You got women who would put videos out shaking their butt and doing all this stuff. And I'm not trying to say just women, because the fellas do certain things, but can't you tell how today everything is just in your face now? Nothing is hidden. Everything is out. It's like Satan just said, you know what? I'm going to take everything out. He was taking little bits out here and there. Now he like, forget it. I'm going to take everything out and boom, and put it out there. Anything that you want, you get it. Sex is pretty much running everything now. You can't watch TV. You can't even go on Facebook. You can't go nowhere without sex being brought up. And sex is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? It is. But as I'm getting older, it's like you don't want to put yourself out there like that anymore. It's too much out there. What's wrong with just having one person? And what you and that person do as husband and wife, you stay behind that door or whatever y'all do. But now it's like wide open. People marrying trees now. You know, but say, I believe in God. These are somewhat people. These are people who are unsure of themselves. So they make themselves appear or seem as if they are better than you because of their position they're in. Someone who seems is not real. God is real because Jesus is the truth. Wasn't nothing somewhat about Jesus. Very direct. Made it plain. Made it simple. He knew when to feed you milk. He knew when to give you that strong meat. Your pastor, if he's truly in tune with the Lord, or she's truly in tune with the Lord, they're gonna know when to give you that milk, that sincere milk, and they know when to give you that meat. We're not supposed to be a somewhat people. Understand that. I really hope you're getting something out of this. You know, like I said, my words may not flow like, you know, the ways of a sea. They may not be as eloquent as most people. I like to keep things plain and simple. Don't be a fake person. There it is. Somewhat. Don't be fake. Don't be a lukewarm person. That ain't what God wants. He wants you to be on fire for him. On fire for him. You've done everything that you wanted to do already. He gave you that opportunity. You in a club, you in a party, you in a smoke, you in a drink, you in a sex like crazy. You done been drug dealers, you done been to prison for killing people, you done raped people, you done done things even now that don't nobody know but God, and you walk in the street and it's driving you crazy on the inside. That's why you're doing things excessively. You gotta smoke all the time. You gotta drink all the time. You gotta be in a mix of chaos all the time because it stops you from seeing you. And when you see other people that look like you, it's like, hey, I'm straight. That's deception. It's time to wake up. That's fakeness. That's a somewhat person. And that's not something that the Lord likes. It don't matter how messed up of a person you are. You can be the Charles Manson. And if you give ears to hear and give your heart to the Lord, he can convert you in the twinkling of an eye. That darkness can be removed out of you, and you can be like Paul, out there giving your way, and people looking like, wait a minute, I remember it was just the other day, and they look at you now and they see the difference. It's like they look at you like, they looking kind of confused. You know how dogs do when you're talking to them, and they like, why is he talking to me? You know what I mean? But that's how it is. Don't be a somewhat person. I know I've said that word a lot. Don't be a somewhat person. Just because the Lord has blessed you to be in a certain position, a certain status, you might have a certain amount of money and nice homes, all these things the Lord blessed you with. He gave you that gift and that talent that's inside of you to get what you have. All of us have it. Some people just don't have that drive to go out there and do like you did it. Everybody ain't gonna be rich. Our true richness is in the kingdom of heaven anyway. Everybody ain't gonna have a big house. Everybody ain't gonna have the cars. But then Christ said, I'm gonna go, and when I'm gonna come back for you, I just gotta go get your homes together, your mansions. I gotta get those together. So when you come, this is where you're gonna be. So eventually you're gonna get there. And you can get your crown right now. You can wear your crown of glory now by overcoming all of those things that was designed to trip you up. God loves you. And as long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to always try to put something out there to encourage somebody. Because right now, somebody homeless. Right now, somebody doing things with their body that they don't want to do, but they doing it to feed their kids, to keep a roof over their head, to keep their lights on. I've seen people do it. We all have been in situations. It's not our place to pass judgment on those people. But I pray that the Lord will find a better way. That's my prayer all the time. Some people are homeless. I've been homeless. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to sleep in parks. I know what it's like to sleep on benches. I know what it's like to walk the streets the whole night. I know what it's like to be mad at God. I know what it's like to have those suicidal ideations. But I thank God that my mama was a praying mom. And when my big mama was here, she was praying. And anybody out there who prayed for me, I'm grateful. And I'm thankful because I could have been somewhere. I was a somewhat person. Someone who seemed to be. I was fake. I lied. I deceived. I was the epitome of all that mess. Now I love the peace. I thank God. And I'm grateful. So that's it. There's really nothing else to put out there. I pray that I gave what God gave me to give. Don't be a somewhat person. Don't be fake. If you're going to live your life for the Lord, live your life for the Lord. If you still want to party and hang out in the streets, then hang out in the streets. But you can't do both. You got to choose one. You got to. And if you choose the Lord, just because you fall down, you hit your toe, you know what I mean, you bust your head, it happens. This is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. But the more you apply yourself to the word, the more you study, the more you pray, the more you seek him, eventually all those things that was designed to trip you up, it's not going to bother you no more. It's going to be inside of you. But see, you've made that choice to let the word come first, to let the Lord come first. And when you do that, it suppresses all of the other crap to basically it becomes nothing. He knows the desires of your heart. His thoughts of you are good. He has an expected end for you. He has a plan for you. He has a purpose. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Stop being a somewhat person. Stop being fake. Oneness is truly key. And love is oneness. It doesn't separate. Love brings together. People separate because hate and love can't mix. Be good. The Lord loves you. I love you. Oneness is key. And I'm out.